101.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Syracuse. I'm Geralba along Alex Pohl and Milo Hoffman for another hour of Newhouse Afternoon. Guys, it is a beautiful day. We got football coming up. Basketball just happened. How you guys doing?
Campus is in full swing now. It's in full swing. And yeah, are we in November?
It's the perfect time of year. You have the great overlap between so many of the sports on this campus. You know, soccer and field hockey just ended yesterday, but you have football going on, both basketball teams, ice hockey is happening right now.
We got a lot of sports.
Sports.
Obviously, the two big ones, football and basketball. You guys got a preference between the two?
Oh, I mean, this is picking between hairs here. I mean, I'm a basketball. I love basketball, but it's football and basketball. How could you complain? And Syracuse, you know, is known for football and basketball, and if you're going to pick between two of those, it's a basketball school, and basketball's here now.
That's true. The football team's been a little bit more prevalent, I would say, in the last couple of years, though, Mila.
They have been, and they're coming out, especially this season. They've had a great start for the most part, and they've done an amazing job, and I was very excited to see this team play, but I think I did have a lot more excitement going into basketball season than I felt when football was first starting. You know, having the third year, you know, the Felicia Get-Jack era.
So, like, basketball too.
Women's basketball has so much going on. They lost to Asia Fair, but you have so many other players new stars. So there's just so much going on with that team. And then also with the men's team, too, with so many transfers. There's just a lot of excitement behind both of these teams and so much going on that
there's a lot to be excited about, and we're going to talk about all of that in this show. We're going to talk women's basketball. We're going to talk about men's basketball as well. Talk about all those sports teams. But first, we got to talk about Syracuse football. Huge game against the Eagles. Boston College on Saturday. We're just a couple days away, less than a week removed from the second overtime win of the season for Syracuse, an absolute thriller against Virginia Tech. In a game that Syracuse was down 3 scores, they responded 21 unanswered points in just about 7 minutes to end the third quarter. I was shocked that happened. Absolutely floored. Yes, 21 points unanswered. No, I'm saying down 17. I was so surprised we came back and won that game.
I don't know about that.
It's their biggest comeback since 2012. How can you not be surprised?
Because the offense is different this year. And I know that there's been shaky times. I know there's been turnovers that you nod your head at and you're like, wow, that really happened. But when you have a quarterback that can sling it like Kyle McCord can, you can get offense going in a snap. It doesn't matter that you're down 17 points.
It just takes one play to get the Syracuse offense going.
And so, yes, as much as you may be surprised, Syracuse is now capable of doing things like that because of their new look offense with Kyle McCord. And I mean, you look at LaQuinn Allen. I mean, he's going out there scoring 3 touchdowns.
I understand.
I'm not surprised.
I understand what you guys are saying about you're not surprised, but this is a team that, trailing after the first quarter, they were 0 for 5 coming into the game. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't be surprised, but credit to the Orange. They came back, and they did it. Justice Ross Simmons really ignited that offense. Milo, I know you're a big JRS guy. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns in that game. He ended up with 4 catches, but his first 2 catches in an Orange jersey, touchdowns.
I mean, talk about making a big impact for your first couple catches.
Yeah.
Justice Ross Simmons, you know, he is someone that has not been involved at all this year. Literally, he has not been involved.
No, yeah.
And he comes out last weekend, and he just shows why Syracuse has yet another threat that they haven't really tapped into yet. There's other guys too. I believe in Emmanuel Ross as well, someone who led the team in receiving yards against Pitt. He's also someone that Syracuse isn't utilizing a lot. And so there are these guys that Syracuse can really look at and be like, well, we also have you. We don't just have Aronde Gatson and Trevor Pena and LaQuinn.
That's the huge difference between last season and this season, is they're actually starting to tap into their talent.
Yes.
Well,
and young talent too.
There's more talent.
There's so much.
Yeah.
But also,
there's more talent. That's undeniable.
There's undeniable that there is a lot more talent this year. But last year they decided to, you know, when you find one player that's doing really well, they revolve everything around that player. And that's all they did, is consistently over and over again for the past few years. They find 1, 2, maybe 3 guys that are great, and those are the only people that they involved. And that's what kills Syracuse. Is they've had amazing starts to their seasons the past 2 years. They were undefeated, whatever, the first 5 games of the season, and then they crashed. And I think it has to do with that, is that they find these players that are able to do an amazing job, and they revolve their entire offense around them. But everyone obviously is going to catch on to that, and when you don't practice or have other plays for any other player besides the main 1 or 2 guys, then everyone's just going to, all defenses are going to crash on them. You're not going to be able to get them the ball. You're not going to be able to run it. And then you have literally nothing else to work with because they're not developing all the other players, where this year they've tapped into so much talent, guys who are veterans on this team, and then also freshmen too.
It all starts, I mean, with just, I think the coaching change and having a new quarterback gets other guys involved, because there's just a new look to this entire team. And so, yes, in past years, this is exactly where Syracuse crashed, and this win might have saved that from happening, because it looked like it might have happened again.
Yeah, it looks like it would have happened again. We got to look forward, guys. Obviously, you got Boston College. Just a quick preview. Got to know what these Eagles are looking like. So they're 4-4 right now, but they've lost 3 straight games. They were ranked at one point on this year. Syracuse, though, is not favored in this game. So Boston College is favored by 2.5, 1.5 points. It kind of depends where you look at it. That's very surprising to me. Like, I would take a 6-2 Syracuse team over a 4-4 Boston College team who's lost 3 straight games.
Yeah.
I understand it's at Boston College, but they have a lot of good weapons. They got Castellanos, a great threat, dynamic quarterback. He can run the football. He can pass the football. But what I've seen Syracuse able to do is they've been able to hold those guys accountable. You see Hodge Malik Williams against UNLV. He is the top. And I'm saying the number 1 running quarterback in the nation, and Syracuse did pretty good against Hodge Malik Williams. This guy, Thomas Castellanos, kind of similar thing. He's not great in the pocket. When he gets out of the pocket, he turns into one of the most dangerous guys in the entire college football landscape. So if I'm Syracuse, and as a Syracuse, guy, I like the Orange's chances in this one.
And I also don't think that us playing at Chestnut Hill is going to be a problem, because Syracuse enters this game having won the past 3 straight meetings away at BC in 2022, 2018, and 2016. They won every single matchup away at BC. So I don't think that being on the road at the location is going to be a huge factor in this.
I agree. I think that it's 2 very different teams when you look at Syracuse and Boston College. Now, Syracuse is a high-flying offense. They average over 30 points a game. Boston College is towards the lower echelon of teams in the ACC in scoring offense, and they're very, very good on defense. They are 3rd in the ACC in scoring.
Just 22 points allowed.
Just 22 points allowed. So it's sort of like you've got your best in Syracuse with the offense. You've got your best in Boston College with their defense. How are they going to match up? I think Kyle McCord goes into Boston College, into Chestnut Hill, and he's motivated, because when I saw him after losses like Pitt, he was demoralized. He said that was the worst football game I've ever played. Comes back, he wins last weekend, and so I think he's going to continue that stretch and win against Boston College, I think, as well. I mean, there's no reason why that shouldn't be the case. Kyle McCord is that powerful, okay? Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, Kyle McCord's a great quarterback. I think that this team should be favored against Boston College. But there are a few different things that, the Eagles have going for them. The main guy that we have to be talking about is one of the best defensive players in the entire country. He's a guy that will be playing on Sundays next year. His name is Donovan Izaraku. He has 9 sacks on the year as a defensive edge. He's been absolutely huge for Boston College. And Kyle McCord against Pitt, in the one game he got really pressured, did not play well at all. So I think one of the main things Syracuse has to do is stop Mr. Donovan from getting going. Because if he gets 1 or 2 sacks in Kyle McCord, he throws a couple picks, and that could really be the end of it, the spiral that kind of catches the Orange and loses this game for them.
I think that that's going to be a kind of tough balance for this Syracuse team, and for the offense, Because Kyle McCord is going to have to, in some ways, take his time to make sure that he doesn't throw those picks, doesn't throw those interceptions. But will he
have time, Alex?
That's the other problem. Is it's going to be a really
offensive line. Mediocre offensive
very
line.
Mediocre.
Really good defensive line for Boston College. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
It's going to be literally within, like, not even seconds, within like point something of a second of how much time he's going to have to be able to get rid of this ball before he gets sacked. But that thing is when he rushes, which is what we saw in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Honestly, first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
That's where he comes into some problems. So it's going to be a really, really tight gap of how much time he really has to take a breath and then throw the ball.
Well, that's what football is. And with the offensive line for Syracuse, they need to buy McCord some time, because if McCord is scrambling all game, if McCord is like struggling against this really good Boston College team, although he's capable of getting out of the pocket and making plays, he's most comfortable in the pocket. He's most comfortable playing like a Joe Burrow. He says it himself. He likes Joe Burrow. They have a lot of similarities. Stay in the pocket, you have vision downfield, and sling it to your guys.
But it's something that he doesn't have the ability to do because of the offensive line. He doesn't have that comfortability to be able to just hang out in the pocket, and that's obviously where his strength is. He's not very comfortable outside of the pocket, but I think he doesn't have that much time.
Especially against good defenses.
Especially against someone like this BC team.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a problem all game long. I think, one of the keys to the game could be the offensive line, but as always, guys, we have our slices of the game.
Yep.
For you guys at home. This is a little segment we do where we try a local pizza place around Syracuse, and then we give you the slice of the game, something that we really think Syracuse needs to focus on if they want to win the football game coming up. In this case, it's against Boston College. And Alex and Milo, we got a pretty famous spot around here in Syracuse.
Yeah.
We got Mario Salvo's. So yeah, this looks great. We obviously, a caveat every time we do this, it's been in the box a few minutes. I know pizza's really good fresh, but it's still pretty warm.
It's pretty fresh.
It's pretty fresh. Like
pretty
as
good.
Fresh as you could get it for doing this on a radio show.
We had a pre-taster too prior to the show.
We did. Shout
very
out
good
Hudson
review.
Ridley. Yeah, good review. So, I mean, the expectations are at the ceiling right now. So, Alex, I want to start with you. You got to go first, ladies first. You got to try the pizza first. But before you give us your, kind of reaction to Mario Salvo's pizza, tell us what your slice of the game is for the Syracuse versus BC game on Saturday at noon.
I'm gonna have to go with a player slice of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, it's gonna have to be LaQuinn Allen.
We've said it once. We'll say it again. Yeah.
Exactly. We keep saying it over and over again, but it's not always for the same necessarily reason. Mm-hmm. He's a consistent player, and I think that that's something that I'm looking forward to with this Mario and Salvo's pizza is the consistency that I hear about. Everyone keeps saying over and over again how delicious it is.
You don't
I haven't tried it yet.
And then another,
Exactly. It's like, compared to some other places, like you take one bite, it's great. It's a perfect, sauce cheese ratio, and then you take another one, it's like, more dry or too cheesy. It's not consistent. When I'm looking at this slice,
oh man,
it's quite it is like the most perfect sauce cheese ratio. It's complete.
It does look good.
It looks
I will say
phenomenal.
I think this looks like the best from the outside
that we've seen so far.
The undercarriage is a nice, kind of golden brown, almost a little black charriness. It looks like a Syracuse sunset the closer you get towards the middle of the pie.
And it's not too flowery on the bottom.
No, it looks great. It looks, nice and thin. It looks like you could get a paper cut on the crust.
It's really good.
Well, we're just
really
right with the audience, making sure
it's true.
We're shining Mario Salvo. Okay.
So back to the slice of the game. I just feel as though LaQuinn Allen is one of those players that is consistent and also brings something new to every single game. In the win over Virginia Tech, and then also the game before, versus Virginia Tech, he had the game-tying and game-winning scores.
Yeah.
And then that's the second time he had an overtime touchdown because he's the one that secured Syracuse's victory versus UNLV.
Yeah.
No other player can say that. He is the person that comes up in clutch in every single game. When they need him, he is there. And he's at this point, with the amazing job he's done so far, he's set a pair of records through this season.
He's got to be consistent.
He's become Syracuse's all-time receptions by a running back leader, which is now 97. And then on top of it, he tied the program's single-season running back receptions record of 42.
No, yeah. I mean, he's great.
He's killing it.
Yeah. And we're going to need him to be big. And the Orange are going to need him to be big in this one against Boston College. So, Alex, go ahead. Try the pizza.
Let's try it.
While you try the pizza, Milo, you want us to get it going in your slice of the game.
Excited.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with the player aspect that we're going with here. I'm going with Justice Ross Simmons. Justice Ross Simmons came out of nowhere last week against Virginia Tech. This guy caught 2 touchdowns. He is a game changer for Syracuse if he plays a lot, in my opinion. This is someone who has history of doing really well, and he's kind of been under the radar his entire tenure at Syracuse so far this year. So if you bring him out against Boston College, you take him with you over to Chestnut Hill, and he performs again, it'll tap into an untouched sort of place that Syracuse hasn't been yet this year, and their potential is just going to skyrocket because you have that much more talent on the team, along with Aranda Gadsden, along with Trevor Pena, because you got to think at some point teams are going to pick up on this. They're going to pick up on this trend that it's Aranda Gadsden, it's Trevor Pena, it's LaQuinn Allen, then who else? You got Emmanuel Ross, who showed he can do really well. You got Dan Villari, who's also solid. And you got now Justice Ross Simmons, who went out there and performed last week. Why not keep giving him the ball? Why not keep getting JRS the ball? So he is my slice of the game this week, and hopefully there'll be someone else's slice of the game further along in the season because I think he's really that good. Look what he did out there.
Yeah.
He came out of nowhere.
He's the catalyst to this offense.
You don't just make that type of impact out of nowhere, in my opinion. So, Justice Ross Simmons, how about it? Go out there in Boston College and play again, because if they really just don't give him the ball again, that's kind of disappointing, right? Like, he performed so well against Virginia Tech, and then you don't give him the ball again. I feel like you got to respect him a little bit.
No, I definitely think that they're going to start including him within this offense and get him in that rotation, because it's the only way to also keep defenses guessing. Mm-hmm. I think that's also part of why he played so well is no one expected it from him.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't either.
He wasn't part of the game plan.
He was not part of the game plan for Virginia Tech.
They
weren't prepared.
Boston College, which is something we have to look at. We guys both talked about your slice of the game as Milo grabs his slice.
And it's so delicious, by the way.
Alex thinks it's great. Let's see what Milo thinks. But I'm going to move over to the defense, because as important as this offense is, and we've been talking about it more than defense, let's be real, guys. Not that, offense sells the tickets, but defense wins you games. Mm-hmm. And I think that the defense is going to be huge in this one, but specifically, it's going to be one player. It's going to be Marlo Wax. And Marlo Wax absolutely dominated last game. In his first game back in the Dome after his injury, he jumped on a fumble. He forced the game-winning fumble in overtime, and he had a season-high 1.5 sacks. And Wax was pretty emotional after his big performance in the Dome.
So I just had to get in the right mindset. It was guys like Cinco, Fidel, and JB. They were just getting me right, making sure I was going out there. So I know that since they had their trust in me, all I could do is go out there and just play free and have fun.
Yeah, when you watch Marlo Wax, I mean, fun. That's the perfect word to describe him, and it's because he plays with so much joy in the field. When you have kind of a season potential-ending injury, I think it really does change your mindset about how you approach going on the field in the future. And Marlo Wax just went out there and said, I'm just going to ball out. And that's what he did exactly. In this one, I think he's going to need to ball out once again. It's going to be absolutely huge that the Orange can create pressure on Thomas Castellanos, and I think Wax is going to be a huge reason why. So with that, I will take my slice of the game.
Marlo Wax is the anchor of this defense.
He's the anchor.
100%.
He's like the red chili flakes you add on the top.
See, I don't agree with you on that. Why? The chili flakes are not the anchor of the pizza. That is a topping.
They are unnecessary.
The anchor is like the dough or the bread.
I understand, but he's the little thing that will give you that little spark in the game.
He's more than a spark.
The fumbles. Well, as I try this pizza, we got a lot more to talk about. Football versus Boston College. Game is this Saturday at noon. Quickly before we go, guys, quick score prediction.
I'm going to go 31-24 Syracuse.
31-24, Alex? We got
I'm going to have to say 31-27.
31-27.
Syracuse
gets the win. I'm going to go with the Orange as well. A little bit more low scoring. I got a 24-14 win. So we all got some Orange wins, which will all be an upset in Chestnut Hill. we got a lot more to talk about. Coming up on Newhouse Afternoon with Drew Alba, Milo Hoffman, and Alex Pohl, we're talking some Syracuse men's basketball. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a few messages.
Radio coverage of Syracuse football is brought to you.
Appreciate it. Oh my God, this pizza's good.
Yeah. It was kind of a long block, but
Yeah. I thought it was a little Q&A, but it was good. Let's see, Twitch. Do we got anything happening?
Put your headset on. I can't move the mic away though. Listening to everyone chew is driving me insane.
I'm probably driving the audience just as insane. All right, guys, out of 10, what do you think?
I think this is
I think if it was a little bit warmer,
it's not bad. I think this is a step up from what we've had in the past.
I agree.
100%. I think it's the best that we've had so far.
High sevens.
Okay. This is my question though.
High sevens? Look at the bottom.
Okay, wait. I do have a question though, because
Look at the bottom.
if I'm comparing this though to like pizza from Long Island, it's a different score than compared to like what I've had up here in Syracuse. Like two completely different. So, but like
Long Island's a better pizza than New York?
okay, Long Island's part of New York.
City.
Okay.
I meant
Yeah.
the city.
But,
Come on.
I know.
Come on.
God, 1 second. Can you hit the button? Number 2.
I'm sure you can't hear that on our mics, so it should be fine.
Wait, do you think Long Island's better than New York City?
That. Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God.
Have you ever had Long Island
Yes,
pizza
I
before?
have. Yes, I have. I actually have. Many times.
How much time do we have? I'm so
my
hungry.
gosh.
Move that back. I'm having another
We gotta
choice.
move it out of the way.
Wow. Long Island better than New York City pizza. That is a take.
100%.
That is a take.
100%.
New York City is the best pizza in the world.
Thank you.
No way.
All right, Jordan, we got a couple of sound bites out of this one, so the Autry lots of work to do will be pretty soon into this block.
Wait. I do have to give the crust a try.
What'd you say?
Alright, lunch.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God.
Cool, thank you.
Decent crust. I'd say okay. The crust isn't bad because I gave a take the first week saying that I hate crust and I refuse to eat it. This one's not bad. It's not as good as whoever the person. What was the place you? Oh, Pepino's. Their crust was better because I don't like it to be too crispy. Like I
like the crust.
Okay, I
putting
enjoy how much that it was cooked and like the crispiness of it in terms of like the undercarriage and everything, but I'm not a fan of like the tiny crispy crust, which is like a hard in between because you can't have like a crispy or drier bottom yet not a crispy crust.
That's a bad take. I'm just saying.
Okay, what do you think? So then what do you think?
I think that like the crispy crust but the fluffy interior is perfect.
No, this is pretty good texture overall.
I like a fluffier crust.
Like
I could eat chewier.
Droops.
No, not like that. Like
Ooh, that's a good question from Steve from North Syracuse.
Oh, it's Stevie.
oh,
Who we see first, Zeed Haynes or Chance Westry? I'm gonna go Chance Westry, I think, on this one.
Fran Brown said that Zeed Haynes is still a few weeks away from potentially playing. That's what he said. So that's like,
wow, you really wreck your crust.
Milo can't even like listen to my thought. He was talking about my crust. I think Zeed Haynes will be not playing. It'll be Chance Westry first, but Chance Westry also is kind of.
Also, I just have to say
sketchy.
a thank you to Steve from North Syracuse because he's the one that recommended some of these pizza places. Pepino's is where we got it from. I know there's another restaurant we've been wanting to try out, Sapori on Support by Antonio's.
Yeah.
That's one we're hoping to try out in the future. Those are also recommended by him. So
Mattress Express. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back into Newhouse Afternoon, ESPN 97.7, alongside Milo Hoffman and Alex Pohl. This hour of Newhouse Afternoon is powered by Drivers Village Cicero. Go to dvoffers.com for more info. More info I want to know about, not just, obviously we love our good guys over there at Drivers Village Cicero. I want to know about this Syracuse men's basketball team because, boy, was that not a great game against Lemoyne.
A great game.
Not a great game.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That was a little bit confusing there. Boy, was that a great game. No, that was a worrisome game for Syracuse men's basketball. I know we've been hearing about it all week this week. I mean, that's been the topic around the block, around the hill, as some may say. This cannot be Syracuse basketball all year long. This is what fans wait for. And you come out and you play like that against Lemoyne. This is the same team I saw last year. No ball movement. It's stagnant.
It's their first year in D1, for goodness sake.
Exactly. You get rid of Judah Mintz, you think, oh, maybe that'll get rid of some of the no ball movement issue. Judah Mintz was a ISO player. He played by himself. He didn't dish out the ball all the time. Now you get rid of him, or you don't get rid of him. He declares for the NBA draft. You don't have him anymore. You have Jaquan Carlos starting at point, who is way more versatile, who can dish the ball off, and it just doesn't really happen. I know he had 6 assists, but it didn't look fluid for Syracuse basketball, and it's just kind of disappointing because I didn't see really any improvement from last year to this year. There was nothing.
I saw no improvement in this team.
I mean, it was worse.
100%. If anything, it was worse.
I mean,
you said that he had 6 assists, but that's not enough.
I mean, 6 assists is a solid number.
It's a solid number.
As pass first point guard, I mean, you say he's more versatile than Judah Mintz. I would disagree with you, Milo. I don't
think he was versatile at all.
I think Judah Mintz has more versatility as a player like Jaquan Carlos because Carlos can't score the ball in a way Judah Mintz can.
Yes.
And Mintz can still pass. I know he didn't a lot last year. There were other players that scored the ball for Syracuse, and that was initiated mostly by Judah Mintz.
I mean, I think this team would be better off with a pass-first point guard and a defensive-minded.
I know Judah Mintz was great. Who would you rather have starting, Judah Mintz or Jaquan Carlos?
I mean,
that's not a question.
It's not a question. You got to pick Judah Mintz. It's Judah Mintz. It's not a question. It's Judah Mintz. But I think that bringing in Jaquan Carlos brought a new look to the team that has the potential to be really good and put this team in a better spot than they were with Judah Mintz.
Yeah.
I know you go down the skill level at point guard, but it's not always about that when you're running the one.
Yeah, but if he's supposed to be that pass first point guard and be able to bring this versatility to the team, he isn't doing that because you have players like Chris Bell who you can then dish the ball to, but they're not doing enough of it.
Yeah, last year, what did Syracuse rely on? Syracuse relied on Chris Bell to catch fire from 3, almost like most of the games.
No.
If he's catching fire, if he's knocking down his shots from beyond the arc, it's going to go well for SU. It looked a lot like that in this first game. Without Chris Bell catching fire, who knows where this game goes? I mean, he's lethal three-point shooter
for Syracuse.
Yeah, completely. But I don't know if that's going to be the case every single game, in which case, who else is going to step up? Zaire Davis was really, really good. That is a crucial piece that needs to continue to perform. Where was Eddie Lampkin?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of guys. Lots of potential, lots of talk, but at the end of the day, it's results that gets it done. And no one knows that better than Adrian Autry, who knows their performance against the Dolphins won't cut it for the rest of the season. Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do. That's no secret. I've been saying that for a while. And again, it's not an excuse, but we just got work to do. We got to get better defensively. We actually rebounded the ball pretty well. We had 20 offensive rebounds. So, we rebounded the ball well. But, overall, our offense wasn't good enough. It wasn't efficient. Very few people in the plus column this game.
One of those people who were in the plus column, credit to Jair Davis, he absolutely killed the ball. I mean, he was up and down as a guy who first game for Syracuse, and he killed it. There's no other way to put it.
I mean, Autry said it. Without Jair Davis, we don't win this game. That's completely true. And I don't know what the situation with Eddie Lampkin is. Is he going to start and just not play a lot? I remember that's something Jim Boeheim used to do a lot. He used to bring in his players. Maybe you start, but it doesn't mean that you're going to play the majority of the minutes at that position. So maybe Jair Davis is that guy. Maybe Eddie Lampkin takes a back seat, although down the stretch, Lampkin, the big man, looked like a force. So it kind of brings this question, who do you trust more at this position in the season? Now, you're 1 game in. So let's hold our horses just a little bit. But
it's a rough 1 game in.
Yeah, but the Dolphins are also, you got to think, they're now at D1. They're coming in. They want to beat Syracuse. Like, this was their Super Bowl.
Well, something that's been a problem for Syracuse is in-state opponents.
Yeah.
It has been so close recently for them that this Le Moyne game was way too close for comfort. I mean, at least for me personally. And then last year versus Colgate, they only pulled out a win of 79-75. And then also for Cornell, it was also a close game of 81-70. Like, these are teams that Syracuse should be blowing out in my mind, and they just aren't.
I don't know about Colgate. Colgate's a good team. They've made the tournament a few years in the past 5.
Which is something that Syracuse hasn't been doing.
Yeah, I mean, that plays to the point that I think Colgate's going to be a tough game once
100%.
again. It was a tough game last year. Relied on Chris Bell masterclass, who shot like 10 threes in the second half alone to kind of carry the Orange on their back and win that basketball game.
Yeah, he had 25 points in that game, and he was the leading point scorer for the Syracuse team. And that's something that I've kind of seen the pattern of him coming up in clutch and being the key to winning these in-state games. Versus Le Moyne, he was the second leading point scorer with 20 points. He had the steal with 6 seconds left in the game. He was fouled. He made both of his free throws.
He's huge.
He's a huge component for this Syracuse team every single time.
He doesn't add much, though, other than the points. Just 1 rebound and 1 assist.
It's true.
If he's not hitting the 3 ball, he doesn't add a lot to the floor.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a little bit worrisome when you got a guy who, if he's not shooting well, what else does he bring? His defense isn't great either. I know that he's saying he's working on his defense. He's getting better.
To end the game.
He did force a steal.
He forced a lot of turnovers in this past game, but deep down, you don't look at Chris Bell as a lockdown defender. Now it's good when you can rely on other guys who maybe aren't finishing but also play good defense.
Yeah.
That's not the case for Chris Bell.
Well, someone who was finishing and someone who was playing good defense was someone who we alluded to earlier. It was Mr. Jair Davis. And you said it earlier, Milo, but Adrian Autry knows that game against Le Moyne would have been completely different without Mr. Davis.
I thought he was huge. He made tough baskets. He scored. He rebounded. He was big for us. Without Jair Davis, we don't win this game. It's simple. And again, we got work to do, but I'll always take a win and get better than a loss and feel terrible.
This is a guy who's not starting for Syracuse, and the head coach just said, we lose that game without him. Do you think there's a chance he sneaks into the starting lineup? I mean, you got to think maybe not next game, but maybe pretty soon.
There's definitely a chance. There's definitely a chance that you see Jair Davis in the starting lineup sometime soon. When you go out there and you play this well, I mean, he was a dog on the boards. Every time that Syracuse put up a shot, you thought that Jair Davis was going to come down with an offensive rebound. That's the type of force that you need. And although Eddie Lampkin did really well to bring that aspect late in the game, and this is sort of what you expected from the big man to start, it brings up the question, like I was saying earlier, do you put Jair Davis in there to start? Or maybe you just let him go out there and play more minutes and you don't worry about starting him. Because who knows? Maybe he's just a better player off the bench.
Yeah, he's like a Quadir Copeland type.
Maybe exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Quadir Copeland was that heart and soul of the team, but he didn't always start.
Yeah, Taylor was starting over him towards the end of the year.
Yeah, Justin Taylor.
Yeah.
Even with everyone knowing Copeland's been so good. Someone who was like, literally, where was this guy? The biggest transfer, you could argue, for Syracuse, Eddie Lampkin. I mean, he was the biggest black hole in the entire court. He was like, where is this guy?
Yeah, but he came to play at the end. You got to remember that. He ended up scoring 10 points.
Yeah, but that begs the question of why was he then not played sooner?
He played 19 minutes. But yeah, I'll give him credit. I agree. He looked better. But I don't know if it's an Eddie Lampkin not playing thing or if it was Adrian Autry wants to incorporate him like kind of slowly.
I think it's a Jair Davis thing. Okay. I think Jair Davis is going out there and playing really well. Why take him out?
I mean, yeah, he was. He had 12 rebounds, so he was doing a great job there. And on defense, like almost split between offensive and defensive rebounds. he had a steal. He had 22 points. Like, he did a great job in this game overall on both sides of the court.
Yeah. And Eddie Lampkin had 3 rebounds. You can't. That can't be the stat line coming from your big man.
11.
Yeah, this guy is big.
Everyone thought that he was going to come into the season as that huge player, be able to step it up.
Yes.
Be an actual beast on the boards and get all of them. We did not see that from him.
I don't think it's an Eddie Lampkin problem, because we've seen him at Colorado in March Madness, the biggest stage for college basketball, carry a team on his back.
Yeah.
So I think it's on Red Autry. The red Adrian thing always gets me. I think it's on him to make sure Eddie Lampkin finds himself in the Syracuse team.
I think it might also have to do with a bit of the chemistry too.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that because something that I realized in this game is there was such a lack of ball movement, and I think that that's what it has to do with, is not having enough chemistry between all these players. We brought in a bunch of transfers. You only have a couple returners, like strong returners, and I just don't think that they've connected enough as a team, and I think that that also has to do with the ball movement of, I don't know if it's necessarily, I wouldn't say it's not trusting each other with the ball, but just not having enough spatial awareness on the court to kind of, when you watch, and it will come with time. And that's honestly what I'm hoping the problem is in a way, is because that's something that can be fixed. And I think that being able to incorporate all the other players like Eddie Lampkin into that group and into the groove,
so many different guys.
They'll be able to, if they create that chemistry with all those top players that we were hoping to see so much more from, I think that this could be a very dangerous Syracuse team. That's the hope, which is why I'm kind of, in some ways, hoping that that's what the problem is because that's something that is fixable with time.
Fixable, 100%. What'd you guys think of Donnie Freeman? Donnie Freeman's the best recruit Syracuse has had since Carmelo Anthony. He went out there and scored a double-double. I know it wasn't very fluid. I know it didn't look great at all times. But I think this was a solid first performance for the 5-star recruit.
It was solid, but I don't think it was good enough. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, this is like, he has to develop. Like, he needs time. He's here for 1 year.
Yeah.
If he develops this year, that's all we get. So he needs to be hot out of the gates. I mean, there's no time.
You gotta give him one game.
I understand, and he played good. But if this is his standard for the rest of the year, I think Syracuse fans have been kind of, cushioned from 20 years of not great basketball since Melo left. I think
that's not true. It's been excellent basketball since Melo left.
There hasn't been an excellent 5-star since Melo is what I'm trying to say that's come in.
Okay, since a recruit, because Syracuse has been one of the best basketball schools in the country.
I'm saying a specific guy.
Recent years.
We have to put expectations on Donnie Freeman to perform right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. He has to perform right now. I give him one game, and if this is a bad game, he had a double-double with 10 points. Like, that's not
true.
A bad game.
No, it's not a bad game, but I'm saying this can't be the standard.
So what's the standard? What's a good stat line for you?
I think he needs to be one of the leading scorers for Syracuse. He needs to be in that 18 to 25 point a game range.
25 points.
He's our best recruit since Melo.
I'd say at least around 20.
He has to be around. He has to be the.
Yeah.
If you don't think he should be one of the leading scorers for Donnie Freeman should be one of, if not the main option for Syracuse.
I completely agree.
So if you completely agree, why do you not think it's realistic for 18 to 25?
18 to 25 is a huge range.
We just say Jair Davis put up. What did he put up? 22?
Yeah. You think he's going to go out there and do that every game? No.
I'm saying.
But we should expect that every game from Freeman.
I think Donnie Freeman should be going out there and averaging 15 to 18 points a game. That's my line for Donnie Freeman.
But this is
I'd say
basketball.
18.
I understand, Milo. I understand. I get it. That's a great player.
Yes.
That's like a top 5% player. This is Donnie Freeman. And this is what I mean by Syracuse fans have to have expectation on this guy. This is a guy that Syracuse can count on to bring them to the promised land. And you don't get that from 15 points a game. You don't.
No. I mean,
and against Colgate, we'll see that. And we'll see if he responds. It's going to be a huge game Tuesday, against a team that's given you a lot of problems in the last few years. And I wish we could talk about the Syracuse basketball team more, but we also got Syracuse women's basketball to talk about. Their game was also kind of close against Niagara. We'll talk about that. Plus, how do you fill in a Deasia Fair hole? That might be a bigger hole than even Judah Mintz. We'll talk about all of that and more after this commercial break.
guys are rather behind. I also don't mind. I thought that was a really good block. I appreciate that you guys, embrace debate, if you will.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great block. That being said, with 2 4-minute 40-second breaks worked in, you guys are probably going to have about 3.5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. We'll work through this quickly.
You could do 5 or whatever minutes on women's basketball and just come back and sign off quick with a,
Okay.
news. But
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think it was worth going long about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go quickly here.
Go quick with that, and then for the last one, I think we just do field hockey soccer quick.
Field hockey soccer. I think Miles should just touch on Knicks, so we each get a sport and then we're done.
Well, I'm saying if we do field hockey, soccer, close.
Out.
I think we should touch on the Knicks. I'll just bring it up.
I think
How much time we have?
No, I know.
No, it'll be fast.
Yeah.
It'll be fast.
I'll go quick. Field hockey is
Yeah. Okay.
easy.
Yeah. We'll also see how fast we go through this block. All right. What do you guys think on the Twitch stream? Do you guys think Donnie Freeman should be the number 1 option? I don't know.
Matchup issue with Lampkin.
I think so. So, Milo, you think
the matchup issue was great for Davis. I'm just talking in the chat.
You think
this should probably
So what do you think is the number 1 option for Syracuse this year? You think it's Starling?
I think JJ Starling.
I think Donnie Freeman should be better by Starling by the end of the year.
I think JJ Starling is the anchor. I think Chris Bell's the guy who can get hot from 3, and I think Donnie Freeman should be that consistent guy scoring 14 to 17 points.
I wonder how much Melo averaged, which I know is an unfair expectation, but
I think if he averaged 22 a game. He's averaged 22 a game. Is Donnie Freeman Melo? No, not even close.
I think he's as close as you can get for Syracuse basketball recruits. He's a top 5 recruit in the nation. If he's not Melo, no one is. And he's not Melo.
Melo's one of the best players of all time in the NBA.
I understand.
You can't just expect this guy to come in here and be Melo.
I'm not expecting him to be Melo. He has to be close. Your expectations are too low if you think that he shouldn't be in the same category as Melo, because that's what he is right now.
He's not the same. I don't think he's that same type of guy. He doesn't have that same X factor that Melo had.
Melo developed throughout this. He averaged 22.2 points a game. Yeah. So I think it's realistic for 18 to 22 a game for Freeman. That's the low end of what Melo was.
I think that's realistic. I think it's going to end up being 14.5 per game for Donnie Freeman.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
He's really raw.
Yeah. Really, really raw.
The problem with him being so raw is my worry is that he's going to finally start to be that top 5 player in the entire country, and then the season's going to end, and then he's going to go to the league. That's what I'm worried about.
So do you think
Syracuse digs themselves a hole kind of in the middle, early parts of the season, and then you kind of see Donnie Freeman turn into that main guy, and then it's Syracuse's 500.
Steve from North Syracuse brought up a really good point. Like Jordan was saying, he's really raw. Melo was that refined guy that you brought it. This is different. Donnie Freeman is not.
What was Melo? 19?
No, of course he was one of the top prospects in the country.
Yes, he was still probably raw.
It's different though. It's different. You can just tell. Can't you tell already? I think Donnie Freeman has the potential to be a draft pick. I think he has the potential to be a first-round draft pick. But I think it's just unfair to compare the two.
I mean, Melo was 18 for Syracuse. That's kind of crazy. So I understand he was refined, but I don't know how much you've watched the first 5 games of Melo's Syracuse career, but I'm sure it looked somewhat similar to this as far as, I don't know. 49, okay.
I say aim for 48.
Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today. Broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Syracuse, here on ESPN 97.7. Newhouse Afternoon, alongside Milo Hoffman, Alex Pohl. I'm Drew Albaugh. We talked Syracuse men's basketball. We talked Syracuse football. We got to get the ladies in there, some love as well. I mean, they were the team that made the tournament last year. They beat Niagara. It wasn't a great game. What did you guys see as far as, Kyra Wood leading scorer?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
That's what you saw?
That's what I saw. I saw Kyra Wood possibly be that X factor that could help fill in the role of Deasia Fair. I know it's such a huge talking point. Who's going to be that person that fills in for the third all-time leading scorer in NCAA history? That's not something you do with one person, though. So Kyra Wood needs to be a big factor. She went out there, she led the game with 19 points. And you got Georgia Woolley, who came in with 18 points, I believe.
Yep.
Kyra Wood's a senior. Kyra Wood's been around the block. So she did really well towards the end of last season. I know she only averaged over 6 points a game. Huge step up already. And I think that was crucial to see the improvement from last year to this year for Kyra Wood. So I think it's just going to keep on going up for her. I mean, I don't think she's going to average 20 points a game.
No. But I think
she's going to be consistent 12 to 13.
You said it, Milo. 100%. Like, Syracuse wins basketball. They have to win in different ways. And Felicia Leggett-Jack, Syracuse head coach, she knows that. She knows that they have to do something different without Deasia Fair.
It's a team. It's a team. And the way we had to win last year as a team was to go through Deasia Fair. And that seemed to work with 24 wins. And this year we're just going to have to do it a little bit different. We're going to push with a pass, and we're going to share it differently. Nobody can handle like Dee. We don't have to. We're just going to be taller. I mean, we had a 6-foot lineup out there at one point. Everybody over 6 feet tall. And so we can play the game a little bit different now.
I think that a huge component is that, like she just said, they have to play the game differently. It can't just be a one player of a brand new Deasia Fair. You're not going to find that.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
And I think that they do have players on this team that are in some ways kind of close to that have that capability, but I think that they need to focus on making it a team effort instead of a one player effort, and that's how they're going to keep winning these games. Not only with Kyra Wood, but I think most importantly is Georgia Woolley.
Yeah, your friend Georgia Woolley.
Gotta get her on the show at some point.
I know. She had 18 points in this game.
Yeah. That's expected, I feel like, at this point.
That 100%, I think, is definitely expected from her. She did an amazing job all over the court, not only with her normal field goals, but with 3 points. And then also for her free throws, she was 5 for 5 at the line.
Right. Yeah. She's one of the best
that's
shooters,
something,
not just at Syracuse, but in the entire country.
In the entire country.
Yes.
And that's the thing is she is from Australia. That's the thing is she is so strong underneath the basket, being able to put the ball right back, and she's able to get those rebounds, put it back up, but she's also able to shoot threes at the same time. If she gets fouled, so far, like I said, she's 5 for 5 from the line. That's something you don't see anymore. When you're younger, playing basketball, growing up, everyone's like your coaches, middle school, high school, you constantly have to practice that. That's what wins games. And I think that that's something that has kind of slipped through the cracks as you go to a higher level. You don't see college players making all of those shots, especially professional players sometimes only make like one.
The defense is so much better.
But it's something that I feel like it just isn't necessarily practiced anymore and done, yet she is shooting perfectly from the line. And I think that that's what's going to also help win some of these close games, is if she's getting fouled by putting the ball back up, she's going to be able to take care of it at the line, which is what wins those close games.
Well, what about the defense? I mean, you look at this Niagara team. They're not great. No. And you give up 84 points. That's not good. I know you go out there and score 108. You said it was a close game. It really wasn't, but your mind thought it was because Syracuse gave up 84 points.
Yeah, and then they play.
That's a lot.
They play St. Joseph, which should be a win. But then, their season gets going right away. 18th ranked Maryland is their third game of the year. it's going to be very interesting. So Syracuse women's basketball, Kyra Wood, Georgia Woolley, they're the real deal. Is the Syracuse women's basketball defense the real deal? I don't know. We'll have to see against St. Joseph and then Maryland. We're almost out of time here on Newhouse Afternoon with Drew Alba, Alex Pohl, and Milo Hoffman. We still got a little bit more to talk with you guys. We're going around New York to talk about all the sports. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it.
Sunday, the Orange women are back at it against St. Joseph's.
Woolley writes the...
Good.
Sorry, I might have thought you guys were skipping the bite with the time. That's all bad.
No.
All good.
Yeah, it's on me.
He's telling you to meet tonight.
Wait, we're meeting tonight?
I guess so. You know what I'm excited for? Another slice of pizza. It was good. Like, that was good pizza.
Hey,
That's good.
got a few more slices.
Afterwards.
Mine.
Oh yeah, 100%. Where did you even put it?
I made a mess.
Oh my god, it's literally right behind me.
Right behind you.
Hey,
All right, plan of attack.
Plan of attack.
I'll toss it to Alex quick.
Yeah.
Then
Give you a quick little.
Then Milo, you want to just go right after that?
Yeah, I'll go right after that.
Yep.
And then I'll talk about soccer. We'll say next week we're...
Oh wait, no. It should go me, you. I should go from field talking to soccer.
Okay.
I should go field talking next soccer. No.
Yeah.
I'm going right to you. I'll go quick.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm excited for both the women's and men's team. I really am.
So excited.
I am. I'm.
By the way, Donnie Mello went off for 38 points in his first exhibition game.
Exhibition.
Yeah. Did Donnie do that? No.
It's an exhibition.
Yeah,
What's
but
his
you
first
can
regular
just-
season game? Mister threw in the word exhibition there, then just called it a day.
My god.
I'm not saying Donnie Freeman is Carmelo Anthony.
You said you literally
I think
said
he should be in the same breath as him. He should be in the same.
Yeah.
talk.
No. So you're saying you think Donnie
He's
Freeman
a 5-star. Carmelo was a 5-star.
recruit.
There's a lot. There's a big range. Like can't you just tell? Can't you just
not-
the eye test? The eye test. Like it's not.
Because your eye test has been Knicks Mello, Syracuse Mello.
That's not true.
Syracuse Mello.
I've watched a lot of highlights.
They were a 3 seed. What were they? A 3 seed when they won the whole thing?
Yeah, I believe they were 3
So
seed.
that means the regular season was good. It wasn't great. So something.
Do you think Syracuse is gonna be a 3 seed this year?
I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
No way.
It's not out of the realm of
I
possibility.
mean, I think it's possible, but you think after this first game against Lemoyne, Syracuse is going to be a 3 seed? We don't even know if we're going to make the tournament.
No,
yeah.
We might not make the tournament.
I agree.
There's a good chance we don't. You're saying
That's
we're
why
the
this
3 seed.
Colgate game is so scary.
Milo. They could.
Ridiculous.
Dude, the fact that Colgate has been making the tournament and we haven't is...
I know. Well, they've been winning their.
It's a lot.
I know.
Wow, the Patriots.
Yeah. It's a completely different league, but still.
No, I agree. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't think you've seen a
Scary.
Syracuse team in the tournament, right?
Nope.
And like you're
Even
junior,
before I was here.
like you're running out of time. We are too, but you got this. This is your second to last year.
Yep. It's scary.
We'll see. We will see.
That's why I wear a lacrosse school.
Really enjoy that you just basically said Milo was too young to see Mello and then talking about his
Forever.
Yeah. This is going off.
When were both of you
Your
born?
favorite player
It's going off the
of all
board.
time.
No, not even close.
Really?
Of all time? No.
I mean, you're a Syracuse fan and you're a Knicks fan, so I was just assuming he'd be
Actually,
up
the
there.
first ever.
Yeah, but I wasn't like when Melo was. I mean, I was a Knicks fan when Melo was with the Knicks, but like it wasn't the same as like
I'm
now.
a Griffey fan.
Like,
I
I would
didn't
take-
see Griffey, even though
Yeah, see,
you know
that
what I
doesn't
mean?
I would
make-
say my first ever NBA game that I ever went to was Melo's first game playing for the Knicks.
Oh really? That's sick.
Yep.
That's really
Jeez,
sick.
You must have been young.
I was in
Coming
first grade,
home.
6 years old.
The intro to that song was sick. No, if someone was like, "Who's your favorite player, Brunson or Melo?" I'd pick Brunson. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Wait, that actually stays.
Melo's great, obviously. Love Melo.
Favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com. Tomorrow's broadcasting stars today, broadcasting live from the campus of Syracuse University. This is Newhouse Afternoon.
Welcome back into 97.7 ESPN. Drew Alba alongside Alex Pohl and Milo Hoffman. Guys, we're in early November, and that means fall turns into winter. A lot of sports have been ending or just ended. Alex, one of them happened last night.
Yeah, last night we had field hockey facing off against UNC, who was the number 2 North Carolina in field hockey. Unfortunately, they did lose 3-1, but they did have such an amazing season. That was in the ACC semifinals. Yeah. One player that obviously stood out the whole season was Bo Van Kempen. She had 15 goals, 9 of them being game-winning goals.
That's crazy.
Even in their matchup versus Cal, she had 2 of 2 of the goals in that game. So she was a star this year as a grad student. But another team that also played last night was soccer.
Yeah, men's soccer, they lost. And unlike Syracuse field hockey, who they have an outside chance of making the playoffs still, they do not. They lost 2-1 to Wake Forest. They were up 1-0 before giving up a penalty and then giving up the game-winning goal. So unfortunately, Syracuse men's soccer. And then the last team we're going to touch on, Milo, we got the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks lost. They just got to get going on offense. They got to get going, get everyone involved, and hopefully it'll end up being a good year for the Knicks. So it's a little disappointing to see Brunson start this slow. He has not been shooting the ball yet well at all. Karl Anthony Towns has put up numbers. He's had 6 straight double-doubles. But I mean, it's just about chemistry. You think about Syracuse basketball, you look at the Knicks, there's a lot of similarities. You bring in new players, you bring in new transfers, you bring in new signings, so hopefully it's a good future for the Knicks this season. It's got to be, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a good future for the Knicks. Field hockey ended, soccer ended, football's on us. We still got basketball, lots of cool things here in the 315, but that's all for us on Newhouse Afternoon. Drew Alba alongside Milo Hoffman and Alex Pohl. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
This is Orange Nation.